Welcome to the Data Explorers Market Update with me, Will Duff Gordon. Today we're going to talk about online poker. We're not going to talk about debt downgrades and the Eurozone crisis. We're more interested in the next few quid from going all in at the poker table, because there have been two rather big pieces of news. The first one is the Department of Justice in the States, who perennial haters of gambling, announcing that they're going to investigate money laundering at three of the biggest US online poker companies, and therefore they're shutting them down. And what is the implication then for the European poker companies that could be recipients of American poker players? And secondly, the 888 Holdings, which is an online poker company, was due to get taken over by Ladbrokes to boost their online gaming presence, but that has actually fallen apart, that deal. They will not be consummating their marriage. So first of all, let's look at 888 Holdings. Did anybody predict, which is kind of like the best trade you can do, that they would be sort of this deal with falling apart? And the answer is there was a doubling of short interest in 888, but it's a very small number, from 0.3 to 0.6% of the company ahead of this news. The shares obviously predictably fell at the announcement of this sort of falling apart of the deal. However, they then rebounded when this Department of Justice news broke, because they're going to be a beneficiary of US gamblers coming towards them. Ladbrokes, what's happening there? Well, again, short sellers weren't particularly caught out by the fact that their shares went up 12% when they announced that they were calling off the deal, but it had been a big short. It was 8% down to about 3% into the end of the year, and has only gradually been rising again to 4%, which is about twice the FTSE average. So there remains some short interest in Ladbrokes, but definitely nothing like it was last year. Meanwhile, at William Hill, Ladbrokes is kind of conventional peer. It's 6% short, down from 10%. If we look at Sportingbet, a much smaller company compared to those two, that has outright positive sentiment, low short interest and falling. Meanwhile, institutional investors have been buying record amounts of Sportingbet and now own 15% of the company. They own 20% of Ladbrokes and 30% of William Hill by comparison, who are far bigger. If we go over to the recently merged Bet and Win and Party Gaming, bwin.party Digital Entertainment, rather ridiculous name. Were they caught out? Were people shorting them and caught out by the fact that they can now be the beneficiary of US poker players? Not really. Only recently been floated, this merged company, has quite low short interest, and that's despite the fact that Germany says that they're not going to basically play ball. They're going to make it hard for bwin.party to operate in Germany. That's the sort of those companies. Now, the elephant in the room here is Betfair. They are to this industry what Amazon is to HMV and what Apple is to Nokia and Ericsson, in the sense that they have a peer-to-peer online betting exchange with very low overheads, no shops, and very few employees. And you'd expect them to be the ones who are pulling away. However, the great paradox here is that there's big short interest in Betfair. The 6% of its shares are short. Given its small amount of shares it floated, that represents most of the shares you can short. And so obviously people think it floated on too high a valuation, and there have already been management changes in their financial betting exchange, LMAX I think it's called, and their shares continue to fall. So that's a little quick wrap around what's happening at the poker tables and the gambling tables of this world. If you'd like to read the report, it is at dataexplorers.com/news.